How's it? How's it? Back with a quick little video here on my two trades I made today. I know it's been a while. I apologize. It's been a few days. I've been busy with school, so I haven't really had a chance to trade as much as I would have liked to over the past 4 or 5 days. Today I could, and I made about 150, 160 some dollars on two trades. I totally missed my initial entry and still was able to manage a pretty solid entry and exit on IMNP here. So I'm just going to go over it real quick. In general, lately, over the past few months, just studying the market, adding to my spreadsheets, I am extremely short bias on these overextended gap ups. They typically fade. Even if you get a bounce. What was the play yesterday? Let me look here. I think it was SNGX. Yeah, so as we're loading here. So this is what I mean here. Let's take a look at the daily real quick. So yesterday we got this huge gap up, and we ran all the way up to 5, breaking 52-week highs. Huge volume. So we got that huge run up, right? Pre-market, we gapped up over $1.50. So we get this big gap up. Now, I was gapping up this much with legs like this. I'm not sure what the news actually was, or what the PR was. I didn't trade it, but just looking back at it, I would definitely not take a short at the open. That's just not a good play. So, but what I do, I wait it out. I see which way it wants to go. So this one took till about just a little after 10 to top out at $5. Can we get back here? Yeah. So on the 1 minute, it took till just a little after 10 to top out. So you wait this out. You get this little fade off here after this initial push, and you get this squeeze, and you get to $5. Now, once I see this big crack here, about 40 cents off its highs, I wait for that next push. I want to see how strong that next push is, which was extremely weak. So what I normally like to do, and this is one of my go-to strategies, I like to start to build into my short as we approach this high of day. Now, that's risky on a stock like this one that is hitting new highs, but you can kind of tell once you see this big crack and then this push is weak, that's when I'll look to build in. If we're strong and we're maintaining that same level of volume, that same level of strength on the way up, I obviously won't take a position. So, or you can even wait. So say you miss this short here on this push back up, which it really wasn't a push, up to 483 here, 485. You miss that, and you see it make another lower high, then you can take a short here, risking off 485. You can build into a short here. That's only 20 cents, 15, 20 cents risk. And obviously you see we faded off all the way down to the mid threes. So that's over $1 a share opportunity. Let's see. I didn't play that yesterday, but that's just what I mean as I'm short bias on these major gap ups. shorting right at the open, you'd have to hold through this squeeze. And I mean, that's, unless you have a substantial account, which I do not right now, that's not possible. So, yeah, those are the plays I look for. So today, when IMNP hits my scanner and we are gapping up like this, almost identical. We're getting this big gap up here. This one was gapping up over $2. I'm gonna wait for that initial push and then that bounce. So on this one, we didn't get that bounce. We got that push. It was looking toppy in here at 5. But for those with small accounts, it's tough to take a short position up here, because if you get squeezed, you have to cancel right away. It's tough to add. So I like to wait. So I missed this big play here. The bounce wasn't big enough for me. I normally like to see a bigger bounce here to short into. Didn't get that. So I watch it fade off, and I waited. Now, I waited. We couldn't break 395. Crack. Couldn't break 395. So on that second test at 395 and we couldn't break it, I said, okay, this is going to be the top of the range here. This is what I'm assuming. So I draw my line in there, my price level. So that's the top of the range. Now when we come down here, we touched 355. That's the bottom of my range. So I'm waiting for a push back up to the top of 395 here. This play is right out of the Trading Tickers DVD from Tim Grittani. I've watched that thing a million times. It's by far the best DVD. It's training, any strategy, anything I've ever consumed. So he talks about this, how if you miss that initial crack, you wait, you see the range it's set, and you build into the top of the range. So even though this push is well off the highs here, this is $1 off its highs. We set this. It looked so weak. I was confident in this resistance here. So I took a small position at 3. I don't remember my exact 394. So that would be back here. My first trade on this was at 394. So we put this first top in here. I built up in. I caught it right at the top, 394. So it was such a small position though, because at that point, thinking back, I mean, if we broke here, I wasn't gonna cut right away. I was going to wait and see if we could break up maybe 420. So I took a small position. I think it was only 300 shares at this point. Maybe 350 shares. And we got that crack back down. I held through this, and I ended up covering. I covered down here. I don't remember. I didn't tweet it out. I forgot my exact cover. But I covered for a little over $100 gain, I think. I covered near the low of this range. So, I mean, I could have taken a bigger position, obviously, a couple thousand share position, and that's a $300, $400 trade right there, with defined risk. So I let it play out, and I said, okay, we're going to see where it bottoms out here, and I'm going to add into the top of the range again. Because I with how weak it was, I figured we were going to test low of day by the end of the day again. So I built into another short. Once we squeezed up here, I got short at 3 in the high 3.8s. I think it was 383 or 384. 386. I got in at 386. So right on the top of one of these candles here. And now I had a defined risk level, 386 to 395, 396. I was only risking 10 cents a share. I should have sized up once again, but this push was fairly strong at this point. So what I was anticipating was a starter here at 386, and I was gonna add if we got into the 390s. I was gonna add if we could get higher. We didn't get higher into the low 390s, so I didn't add, and I ended up with, I think, like a $75 win. Honestly, I could have held through the rest of the day here. That's a slow grinding process, tough to hold through. So obviously I missed the crack of low a day later in the day, and we closed down here near low a day. But with more size, this was an easy $700-800 day. This second trade, that was another 385 down to 360, the low 360s. That's 20-30 cents a share. If you hold through, that's even more, down to the 40s. That's 40 cents a share. And these are all solid risk reward setups. Especially this second trade here. I was hoping we could get a higher push here. I'd add in, take bigger size. We didn't, so I just held and took the small gain. On a $2,000 account, $175 today on 2 trades isn't bad. It should have been a lot more, though. I feel like I continuously keep saying this, but they're solid risk rewards. You find you if you miss this initial crack, they're just solid risk reward setups. If you miss this initial crack here, you can build into a short towards the top of the range, and then you wait to cover near the bottom. Risking 10 cents a share. Low of day was at 355, so that's 30 cents a share if you believe it's going to test near low of day with substantial size. That's a solid profit. That's after missing this huge crack. So that's just a way to look at these trades. That's the way I like to look at these trades, especially at the open when they're extremely volatile. Sometimes it's tough when they don't. Now, these are for shorts. It's different, if there's a defined entry level going long. That's different in the morning. I still don't like to play the first 5 to 10 minutes of the morning. I always struggle with that. The longer I wait, the more successful I am. I don't really enjoy trading middle of the day because it is slow and choppy. But when you get into a play like this that's slowly grinding and fading throughout the day, these are easy risk reward setups that you can take. Just like I said, if I had taken bigger size here on this second entry, I missed a $400, $500, $600 day. That's minimum easy. But I'm not going to complain about profits. $175 today, around there. Could have been more, obviously, but solid plays. I didn't really see anything else later in the day or throughout the day. There were a few other tickers. I don't really have them off the top here, but yeah. So that is just the recap from today. Like I said, I'm gonna try and keep getting these out. Sorry, it's been about a week since my last one, but school's been getting in the way a little bit. But today was a solid day. We took home some profits, and we will be back tomorrow.